Chapter 4, Section 2, we're going to learn about operations with polynomials. So we're going to be adding and subtracting polynomials. We've seen this before. So we have added and subtracted polynomials before. In order to add or subtract, they have to be like terms. So they have to be like terms in order to add or subtract. So if I had 4x squared and 3x cubed, could I add these together? No, because these are not like. What if I had 4x squared plus 2x squared? Could I add these together? Yes. So what would they add to? 6x squared. Awesome. We add the coefficients together. The variable part stays the same. So we can either add our polynomials vertically or horizontally. We, I think, have always done it horizontally in the past, but I'll do an example of vertically, and if you'd like doing that better, then you can do it that way if you prefer. So I'm going to put one polynomial on top of the other. So I have 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 7. And then when I write my second polynomial, I have to just make sure that all my like terms are in the same column. So I have x cubed minus 10x squared. I wouldn't put the plus 8 right after it because it doesn't have an x. So the like term with the plus 8 would be that minus 7. Yeah, you could put 0 in that spot if you wanted to, or just leave a space. Now we just add vertically. So we add our columns together. What's 3x cubed plus x cubed? Perfect, 4x cubed. What's 2x squared minus 10x squared? Negative 8x squared. What would come next? Minus x. I don't have anything that I'm adding to it, so just minus x. And then negative 7 plus 8 would be plus 1. So this would be my answer. So vertical, we just stack the like terms on top of each other and add. Horizontal is pretty much what we've been doing, where we just find our like terms and add them together. So for B, we're adding. So find your like terms in both sets. Do I have a like term with 9y cubed? No. So I start with 9y cubed. Then I have 3y squared. Do I have a like term with 3y squared? Negative 5y squared. So what's 3y squared plus negative 5y squared? Or 3y squared minus 5y squared? Negative 2y squared. Then do I have a like term with negative 2y? Y. So what's negative 2y plus y? Negative y. And then lastly, 1 minus 4. Negative 3. Be super careful with your signs here. So adding horizontally, you just add them together, find your like terms. You can add it however you want. If you think adding them vertically is easier, do it that way. It's super important for these questions that you stay organized and be careful with your signs. Right, so for the next two, we are just finding the sum or difference. So number one, we are adding. So just because I have parentheses there, it doesn't really mean anything. I'm just adding these two polynomials together. Do I have a like term with 2x squared? 7x squared. So what's 2x squared plus 7x squared? Awesome, 9x squared. We add the coefficients together, the variable part stays the same. Do I have a like term with negative 6x? Negative x. So what's negative 6x plus negative x? Awesome, negative 7x. And then lastly, what is 5 plus negative 9? Negative 4. It's the same thing as saying 5 minus 9, which is negative 4. So this would be our answer. for number 2. When we're subtracting, what's the first thing that I have to do? Distribute the negative. So I'm distributing the negative to everything behind it, which means I have to change the sign of everything behind it. So it becomes negative 5t cubed. What if it's already negative? It becomes plus. So plus t squared. And then minus 17. We have to change the sign of everything behind it. And from here, we can add our like terms. So what's 3t squared minus 5, or 3t cubed minus 5t cubed? Negative 2 cubed, negative 2t cubed. Perfect. What about 8t squared plus t squared? So plus 9t squared. Do I have a like term with negative t? No, so what will come next? Just negative t. And then lastly, I have negative 4 minus 17. What would that be? Negative 4 minus 17. They're both negative, so we add them together, so it'd be negative 21. So when we are subtracting, don't forget to distribute the negative first, and then you just add it together like normal. Next, we're going to be multiplying polynomials. So to multiply polynomials, you multiply each term of the first polynomial by each term of the second polynomial. As with addition and subtraction, the set of polynomials is closed under multiplication. So we just multiply, and then we have to add our like terms together. So we are multiplying our polynomials. The first one is negative x squared plus 2x plus 4. And the second one is x minus 3. So I'm multiplying these together. When I have 3 terms in the first set and 2 in the second, it's like FOILing, but we just have one extra step. We just have to make sure everything in the first parentheses gets multiplied to everything in the second. So starting with our first term, negative x squared, I would multiply that times x. What's negative x squared times x? Negative x cubed, perfect. What's negative x squared times negative 3? So plus 3x squared, perfect. Once you do the first term, we move to the second. So what's 2x times x? 2x squared. What's 2x times negative 3? Negative 6x. And then lastly, we have 4. So what's 4 times x? So plus 4x, and 4 times negative 3? Minus 12. Am I done? What do I have to do next? Combine like terms. So I can start with my highest degree, which is that negative x cubed. So negative x cubed would come first. Then I can move on to the x squareds. So I have 3x squared. Do I have any other x squareds?
No. Oh yeah, sorry.
2x squared. What's 3x squared plus 2x squared? 5x squared. Then I can move on to the x's. I have negative 6x plus 4x, negative 2x, and then minus 12 doesn't have a like term, so just minus 12. So this would be our answer. All right, let's take a look at B. So again, we are multiplying. I have my first polynomial and my second. So we just have to make sure everything in the first group gets multiplied to everything in the second. So I'd start with the y. What is y times 3y squared? 3y cubed, perfect. What is y times negative 2y? Negative 2y squared. And then y times 2? 2y. Then we can move on to the 5. So we have 5 times 3y squared? Awesome. 15y squared. 5 times negative 2y? Negative 10y. And 5 times 2? 10. Am I done? What do I do next? Combine like terms. Do I have any like terms with the 3y cubed? Nope. So I start with 3y cubed. My highest degree goes first. My y squareds are going to come next. So I have negative 2y squared. Any like terms with that? 15y squared. So it's negative 2y squared plus 15y squared. 13y squared. Then I have 2y minus 10y. Negative 8y and plus 10 would just be plus 10. Don't have any like terms with that. So this would be my answer. All right, in example 4, we're multiplying 3 binomials together. So my first one is x minus 1, then I have x plus 4, and x plus 5. How do I multiply 3 binomials together? Perfect. We multiply the first two together, we get the answer, and then we multiply the third. So how would I multiply x minus 1 times x plus 4? FOIL. So x times x is what? X squared. X times 4, 4x. Then I have negative 1 times x, negative x, and negative 1 times 4. Negative 4. We want to combine like terms before we multiply the third one just to make it easier for us. Do I have any like terms? Or two middle terms. So what's 4x minus x? 3x. Perfect. So I have x squared plus 3x minus 4. Now this gets multiplied by our last binomial there. So you multiply the first two, then we multiply the third. When we multiply the third one, we just have to make sure everything in the first group gets multiplied to everything in the second. So I'm going to start with x squared. What's x squared times x? X cubed. What's x squared times 5? 5x squared. Then we can move on to the 3x. What's 3x times x? 3x squared. And 3x times 5? 15x. Then we can move on to the minus 4. So negative 4 times x would be what? Negative 4x. And negative 4 times 5? Negative 20. What should I do next? Combine like terms. So I start with the x cubed. Then I have my x squared. So it's 5x squared plus 3x squared. 8x squared. The x's. So I have 15x minus 4x. $11x. And then minus 20. That would be my answer. The last page is just more multiplication. I'm going to do one of these together with you guys. Which one do you want to do? The first one?
The shortest one.
I don't know if the first one's the shortest, but we can do that one. They're all about the same length. Let's do the first one. So where do I start? I FOIL. So I start with the first term. What does 4x squared get multiplied to? The 2x. What's 4x squared times 2x? 8x cubed. What do I multiply next? 4x squared times 1, which would be 4x squared. Then we can move on to our second term, x. What is x times 2x? 2x squared. What's x times 1? X. And we can move on to the -5. What's -5 times 2x? -10x. And -5 times 1? -5. Am I done? What do I have to do next? Combine like terms. So I start with the 8x cubed. What would come next? Awesome. Combine the x squared. So 4x squared plus 2x squared would be 6x squared. What's next? Perfect. X minus 10x would be -9x. And lastly, -5.